Not everyone will qualify for the third stimulus check, even if they got the first two. Hey, what's up you guys, it's Leo Morgan here. Today we will talk about third stimulus check updates. A third stimulus check could arrive as soon as end of March, with near certainty that the House of Representatives will approve the 1.9 trillion stimulus bill, moving it along to the Senate before a final signature from President Joe Biden, and with new rules surfacing this time around a few stimulus check payments. You are likely wondering if you will qualify for $1,400 checks. While the new check is much larger than the first two and will include more people in the eligibility rules, such as dependents, there are also requirements that would bring smaller check for none at all to others, which bring us to question who could be disqualified from receiving the third payment. Even filing your taxes early or later could determine your stimulus check fate. The third check will be much more targeted and focused on vulnerable Americans, which will undoubtedly change the entire stimulus check equation. Here is what we know so far about who may be left out from receiving check this time around. Whether you are qualified could depend on when you file taxes. If you are right on the cusp of the income limit that I will describe, when you file your taxes could make the difference between qualifying for a partial check or not. That's because it's highly likely third stimulus check would arrive in the middle of tax season. The IRS is expected to base your next stimulus check off your 2019 or 2020 taxes. The IRS is expected to base your next stimulus check off your 2019 or 2020 or 2020 taxes, whichever is on file when it's processed. If you file your taxes early or request an extension, either action could influence which yearly income figures the IRS will use. If you made more in 2020 than in 2019, you might want to file later. If you would be disqualified in 2019 but made significantly less in 2020, filing sooner might be to your advantage. 1. Individual taxpayer with an AGI of $100,000 or more in 2019 or 2020 are disqualified. The new stimulus check could begin to phase out after $75,000 per the targeted stimulus plan. If your adjusted gross income or AGI is $100,000 or over, you won't be eligible for a third payment of any amount. However, if you make between $75,000 and $100,000, you could get portion of the check. You would receive the full amount if your yearly income is under $75,000. Heads of households with an AGI of $150,000 or higher won't qualify. Similar to single taxpayer cutoff, heads of households, people who don't file jointly and claim dependent with an AGI of $150,000 or more are excluded under the new proposal. In order to get partial stimulus payment, you would need to make between $100,000 to $12,500 and $150,000. But to get the full amount, you must make below $100,000 to $12,500 if you are the head of the household. 3. Married couples filing jointly with an AGI of $200,000 or higher aren't eligible. If you are a married couple filing jointly and have an AGI of $200,000 or higher, you won't be eligible for the third stimulus check under the new proposal. In order to qualify for the $1,400 payment, your combined household income would need to be less than $150,000. The amount you could receive would phase out after that amount until you reach the cutoff. 4. Non-US citizens or non-resident aliens will be ineligible again. If you are considered non-resident alien by the IRS, you won't be included in the third stimulus check. The government defines a non-resident alien as someone who has not passed the green card test or the substantial presence test. For example, if you are studying abroad in the US, with the first stimulus check, non-citizens needed to have a social security number and live and work in the US to qualify for a payment. However, the second check amended the rules to allow families with non-citizens supposed to qualify for a second stimulus check, even if they are issued taxpayer identification number by the IRS and not social security number. So someone asks, are non-citizens who are married to US citizen eligible? If you are considered a non-citizen, you may or may not get stimulus check, depending on a couple of factors. Under Biden's proposal, mixed states households with at least one family member that has social security number could be eligible for the third stimulus check, assuming they meet the other requirements, including the income limits. So another one asks, what if you reside in US territory like the Virgin Islands? With the first two stimulus checks, people who live in Puerto Rico, the US Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, or the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands may have been eligible to receive payments. Whether these groups qualify for a check has in the past been determined by the tax authorities in each territory. These agencies were also directed to make the payment. Now, if you never received payment for one or both of the previous stimulus checks, you will need to contact your local tax authority to inquire. So, if someone asks, what if I am non-filer and don't usually file tax? So if you are non-filer and typically aren't required to file income taxes, you are probably eligible to receive third stimulus check. However, if you are missing money from previous check, you may need to take an extra step to get your money by filing your taxes this year. If there is an issue receiving some or all of third check, it's like you would need to file claim during tax season 2020 year from now. We will know more once third payment is approved. What if a relative has died since filing my 2020 taxes? So it depends on which tax return the IRS uses. For example, if the IRS goes by your 2019 tax return, it's likely you would get to keep the amount you received for the deceased person. With the first stimulus check, the IRS asked people to return the money for someone who had died since the previous tax filing. With the second stimulus check, if your spouse died in 2020 and your IGI was less than $112,500 a year, you would be eligible for the full $600 amount. We will know more as soon as third stimulus check is passed by the Congress. So this was the latest news about the third stimulus check updates. If you want more stimulus check updates, consider subscribing and click the notification bell down below. See you in the next one.